Hey there, folks. This is KlerikReturns, returning to you with another episode from Kerbal Space Program, returning to KLab. I finally figured out a name for the science series. We're going to call it KerboLab. K-E-R-B-O. KerboLab. At least that's the goal anyway. That's what I'm going to call it, KerboLab. So let us return to the VAB and work on our next ship, which in this case is going to be a lander for Minmus. We are going to Minmus. Why not the moon? Well, because the moon is too close. And we do not do these things because they are easy, but because they are hard. Or some such shenanigans nonsense like that. The goal will be to land on Minmus, simply because it only takes slightly more thrust and power to get there than it does to get to the moon, and I like it better. It's a more fun place. So they added biomes to Minmus. So while we could do a super duper crazy launcher like Zisto, who did an amazing lander and got all the biomes, I think, all in one big thing, instead, come on, let's do this. Thank you. Instead, we're just going to do a very simple one just so we can get there and home and bring back a surface sample and get a whole bunch of science from that we can use to buy other parts to make it easier to go to places like the moon or to Duna or one of the other beautiful planets in the Kerbo system. So let us start out by naming our crafts. Minimal Landar with an A. Minimal Lander. Landar. Okay, so first we begin with our capsule. We've only got one choice at this point. The very first thing we're going to do is add a parachute on top because we are bringing this bad boy home. Step 2, let's figure out our science situation. So we have the Science Junior, which we certainly would like to bring one back from the surface of Minmus. And we've got our mystery goo containers. These we would like to bring back as well. Let me press X so I can get these symmetry modes going on. And I would like one here on each side so we remain balanced. And we will also bring with us this communication device, otherwise known as the Comms DTS M1, so that we can transmit some data back. Crew reports, I think, maybe? Perhaps. I forget. Anyway, we may transmit some stuff back. We'll see. But let us put some batteries on, simply because batteries and power are absolutely essential. We'll just put it right there on both sides so we have it nice and even. And we've got one of these and one of these, or two of these and one of these, so we've got some goodness going on. We don't have any other scientific instruments other than the Kerbals. Kerbal? Right, yes. The Kerbal, rather, who will be in the cockpit. I'm not sure who we're going to get yet. But we will need to build from this. This is our science setup. So this parachute on top will handle this full load, no problem. Just try and slow down as much as possible before you hit it. So now that we've got our main pod, where we can be sure that we're going to get as much science as possible, we need to plan and make it so that we can get back from Minmus, which I could probably do it with one of these, or maybe this setup here, but let's go with one of these. Is that the same size? I'll bet it is. Let's see. Put it there. Oh no, it's slightly longer. Yes. Slightly. Ever so slightly. Let's check our volumes. So this one's got 180 liquid fuel. This one's got 90, so it's two of these worth. And this one's got 45, which is half of this one. Which makes this one the much more efficient one, being twice this. So this plus this is only 3/4. If we do that setup, it will equal that one. If we do that setup, it will equal that one. But this one has a lot less mass, I believe. 2.25. I don't want to do the math. Let's just say that it's better and call it a day. Yes. So this will be our return home portion. Let's see, I believe we've got some disconnectors. Yes, radial decouplers. I'm going to do an interesting design here that I have not yet tried before. So we're going to do, hopefully more than enough fuel to land this guy and take back off. And we're going to take advantage of some of the new functionality. So we're going to put more Science Juniors on here. I don't know if we'll get a chance to use them, but there are many places that we haven't traveled yet, including out of Kerbin's influence or between Kerbin and the moons. So we'll hopefully get some good science out of these guys, because now you can have your little Kerbal guy jump out and grab the data and pull it back into the pod, so you can leave these behind without having to worry about it too much. But I still like to bring it home. Don't know why. You know, maybe we don't need to do this. Maybe we don't need to have this going on. Let's do an experiment. I have not done this before, but we're gonna shoot it. We're gonna give it a shot. Shoot it in the face. So here we've got our setup, so we can have the data twice, and this simple guy will be the part that returns home. Let's also add these engines, these motors to the outside here. Kind of want to make them all evenish. That's evenish. And we'll put our landing struts on. We'll go for 4 in the center. If we can do it right. There we go. And there. And let's grab some more on the outside here. Make sure they are the right height. That looks good. Oh, no. Come on. You can do it. That looks good. Come on. There we go. This game sometimes, it thinks it's clipping, but it's not clipping. Doesn't know how to handle it. But this should be more than enough to land on Minmus and get us back home beautifully. Beautifully. I think it's good. I've never tried the rocket design before. But we've got the batteries, which is very important. I feel like adding more here just so that we can be safe and make sure that we've got enough power. It's nothing worse than running out of power. But that should even us out. And now that we've got our lander set up, let's add some struts and solidify it a bit more. Got our 2x symmetry. So here's a pro tip right here. When you're building rockets, you can see how this is trying to go through everything just to get to the other side. But once I click, let's say I go out here, boom, then you can see it automatically goes here. So it allows you a bit more control. Zoom in. Allows you a bit more control of how your struts end up looking, which, you know, looks aren't everything. So it's more the ability to connect to things. So usually I'll connect it here and then you know, grab it and put it all the way through on what I approximate to the opposite side. And yeah, there you go. That looks good. Got our struts on. That's certainly going to hold up over the strain of launch and interplanetary body travel, because we're going to the moon. I guess it's interplanetary, sort of, because of planet. I don't even know. I don't know. I'm just gonna give up. All right, so let's build our launching stage. Let me take a moment though and pause on this lander. So the lander setup, things you want to include if you plan to go and land and then return, is first, enough fuel. Very key. Second, you want to have batteries if possible. There are ways to make it without batteries if you use the different rocket motors. These rocket engines here do not generate electricity, so you would want solar panels, or you can use either one of the other rocket engines to generate power. But these do not. So you want to make sure you have batteries, enough to get you there, and you want to keep SAS off as much as possible. Other things with the lander, you want to have landing legs. More is better. You can even do a pre-test. You know what, let's do a pre-test on this guy to make sure that the landing legs are going to be enough and that everything's going to disconnect properly and the parachutes are going to work right. So let's get our staging set up. 1, 2, 3 rockets launching all at once. I'm good with that. And then we separate and the parachute comes out. Save it. So yeah, we can do a test launch, but you want power as much as possible. Parachute And in this version of the game, that's all you need, because you can go out and pick up the science that you need and bring it back to the capsule, so you don't have to recover the science pieces. Yes, we'll call them science pieces. And let's make sure that doesn't look symmetrical. That looks symmetrical. Symmetry achieved. That's good. You can also check the center of mass. It's hard to tell on a ship this small, but you know, if the center of mass was over here, you would know that you had a problem. But this looks good. Okay, let's turn that off. Save it. Let's start with these extended. Since we're doing a test, we will pretend that we are landed already, and we'll see how this thing does as we fly up through the air in Kerbin's atmosphere. So we're not going to get nearly as much height or thrust as we would on Minmus, because Minmus is very much smaller and has much less gravity. But here we go in test scenario with Jeb at the helm, of course. In a 3, a 2, a 1. There we go. We can retract our gear while we're flying up. There we go. Gear retracted. And while we're up here, let's observe the materials bay. See if we get anything. Oh, we do get some science. You know what? Let's try and land this thing as best as possible, so that we can recover some of this data. Let's take a crew report. Awesome. Keep. And let's get a goo canister going. A goo canister going. Keep that data. And we're going up, up, up. Let me do a quick little time warp here so we can save some time. We can do one more? Yeah, let's do one more. This thing is super solid. And I'm hoping that we can get up into the next level of the atmosphere so we can take some different reports. Okay, we are there. Let's observe the materials bay. Awesome, more science. Oh, flying at Kerbin. Flying at Kerbin. Sure I am. Let's grab some goo. Kerbin's upper atmosphere. Excellent. And can we do another crew report? Nope. We could do an EVA report, but he would fall out. Oops, wrong button. And let's slow her down. Here we are up in the upper atmosphere, almost up here, but you can see we're starting to fall. If I got him out right now, he might make it, but I don't want to risk it. Let's keep these. Let's see if this parachute is enough to slow down and handle all of this situation. Why not? Put the gear down. Should help us out. Let me speed up so we can get a little closer. We're going to deploy the chute at 5,000 meters. Is the generally agreed upon altitude at which to do these things. And we've got all that. We've got this. We've got this. Approaching 5,000. Let's slow her down. Oh, I don't want to get rid of those, so I'm not going to hit spacebar. I'm going to right click and manually deploy the chute. Zoom out and make sure it's attached. So what may happen is when we hit 500 meters, the parachute may just rip away and we'll fall to our death and doom. There's a pretty high chance of that, actually, because these are it's a pretty heavy setup. But I'm hoping. I have hopes and dreams that someday... Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Yeah, so we can handle it no problem. Let's speed up till we hit the ground. Get close at least. Wow, look at those. Look at those graphics. Alright, slow down. They're coming in. Kaplunk. No problem. Good you, Jeb. Alright, let's take an EVA report from here. Make sure you don't let go. EVA report. Oh, I get nothing because I've already done it. Reset. And in we go. And I think this is all set up and good. Let's recover the vessel for our quick test trip of this lander setup. So we know that we can get all the way into... almost all the way up to Kerbin's upper atmosphere. Oh, look at that. 43.8 science. Recovery of a vessel that survived a flight. It's a whole 5 science. All this other stuff is good. 17 material study. Those material studies, man, they get you data upon data. Fantastic. Alright, let's return to the VAB and finish building our rocket. But we know that our Landar setup is good. It has more than enough power to come down without an atmosphere and land with no air to break us, no slowing down from the atmospheric drag. Let me close these. Can I do that? Yes. So we know that it has more than enough power to get down and back up and out into space. So let's build. I think I covered everything that I wanted to talk about with the Landar. Legs, power, science. That's it. So let's build our launch stage. So this is going to come in, I'm going to do it in a couple different sections. So we're going to have the section, we have the Landar section here. Below that is going to be the section that's going to get us to Minmus, which I'm going to do 2 of these. Like so, with the 215 power. What is that? The max thrust 215. Doesn't say the units. So 215, whatever metric is appropriate. We're going to use that to get us. Let's see. So that's good. We're going to use that to get us from Kerbal orbit over to Minmus. There we go. Everything seems to be holding on correctly there. Let's do some extra struts right from this spot up to... is that going to be... We want it to go super high, so let's go up here. Yeah, perfect. Look at that. Looks like I meant to do it. Alright, so let's zoom out. So these 3 engines with all this fuel is more than enough to get this very lightweight set up to Minmus. No problem whatsoever. So let's hold down Shift, left click, so we can grab the whole ship, and scroll wheel up so we can move around. And let me hold down Shift so we can zoom in while we mouse wheel. All these tips and tricks. Pay attention people. So then off of this, we're gonna build something that I have never built before. So we're gonna go on an adventure. We're gonna build a rocket that I don't even know will officially work, but we're gonna try it out anyway. Let's do this. I'm gonna do 3 of these, right? And then I want to bring these out off the middle ones so that we're gonna have a very, very interesting shape going on here. We'll see how it goes. You know, actually, I think I want it off at the top one. And then we can just grab this with holding down Alt while we right-click. And now, here we go. We've got this all set up. Because when you grab the top of a thing that's connected like this, so I can hold down Alt and grab everything below it, copies it. So now we've got a fairly good launch stage. Let me throw some engines, some rocket engines on here. Let's do this is the thrust vectoring one with a max thrust of 200. I'm going to put one of those in the center, and then these others at 215 on the outside. Here. And we don't have fuel lines yet. I could make it a lot more efficient with fuel lines, but we'll have to do that later. Next option is we need to add some boosters. Boosters are very important. Boosters give you a huge amount of oomph for not a lot of weight. So I'm going to do these in kind of a unique fashion. We're going to do a 2-stage solid booster setup. So all look pretty equal and even. Of course, we're going to reinforce the heck out of this thing before we launch it. Let's see, do we have anything else fun that we can use? Okay, we're going to use these launch stability enhancers, no doubt. Girder segments, no. So we're going to put these on this stage here to go when we first leave the launch pad. Oh, those are on crooked. Try again. There we go. You on? Oh, nope. You are not on straight. There. That right there. Right there. And up. That looks almost good. These are a little bit too high. Let's move them down. there we go. So these 4 are going to launch when we launch the rocket. And then the next 4 up here, make sure they're even. These guys are going to go after the first ones are done burning and fall off. Ah, there we go. That is a serious rocket. So what that setup will do, even though it adds more weight of these that are not thrusting at the beginning, it'll allow these 4 to thrust and get us up in the atmosphere, and then these 4 will just really punch it once we're in the thinner atmosphere and can move a lot faster. So this is a very very interesting rocket design. I have not seen this before. You know what we could do? You know what? Let's do this. Let's make it a little overpowerful. Okay, so we're gonna move you off to the side here. Oh, this is silly. This is absolutely silly. Let's copy, not that part. Copy from here. Oh yeah, yeah. That's ridiculous right there. That is way too much power for the amount of weight that we have up on this top. It's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be epic. It's gonna be beautiful. Let's see, on these lower parts, do we have anything that we want to put on top? I don't think so. Very simple structures. We want to use our launch stability enhancers, no doubt. Right along the center here. So we got these. Oh, these are off center. Whew, glad I noticed. Let's grab you. And I guess not there, but there is good, right? That is centered. There we go. That looks like a friggin' awesome rocket ship. Seriously. Alright, so we got these in the center. And then sometimes you can trick these. Oh, yeah. Sometimes you can trick these into thinking that they're not clipping. So clipping is where they collide. So as I put this here, you can see that down below on here, it goes right through it. But the back one is red. Oh, there we go. We tricked it. We tricked it. Oh, I should have stayed here. Can you... There we go. Boom. So now we can have it stacked here and here on the same plane, and that lets it have more stability between the top and the bottom, and it'll let us have much more stability on the launch pad. Let me hold down Shift left click, scroll wheel down so we can get this thing closer to the ground. Get a better understanding of how it's going to be on the launch pad. Let's put some struts on. First, we'll do it from here to there, and then Alt does nice and easy out to there. And we got to make sure that we get all of these because we didn't do 4x symmetry for the center. We did 2x symmetry, and what that'll actually do is it'll let us. Oh, come on, come on. That will let us have better control over when things launch. Okay, so that attached. I don't know what happened there, but it was odd. It was very odd. All right, let's do that. I must have double-clicked somehow. So we do this. So these struts are almost redundant, but they will provide some stabilization. Okay, so we got it all going around to the solid boosters. Let's do more from the center here. So I'm going to zoom in, and if you zoom in far enough, you can actually end up inside a rocket, like so. Lets me click. Let's go down to the bottom. It lets me click here, and then you can see I'm kind of pointing this thing around, and I can actually just click right in the same spot, and it will automatically jump. Can we get a good camera angle? So it'll automatically jump over to the rocket that you're inside of. So let me do another one through the middle here. Boom, click, click, and you can see it's connected right there. So again, to zoom in and out, you hold down Shift while you do the scroll wheel, and that'll get you all set. So let's do a couple more struts. One here, and in the middle. There you go. And on these as well. Good. One more. And these are automatically connecting because I am using Alt to grab them. So the struts will hold the direction in which they are connected when you hold down Alt. So, for example, for this one, I hold down Alt and put it here, you can see it kind of glitches out as it tries to connect straight up, because this one comes straight out. But instead it can't, so it just kind of glitches out and is like, hello, what are you doing? And then it lets you set it in a new position. I'm going to do this, add extra stability. These I don't really need it from. These are all together. This thing looks just about ready to launch. I really feel like I want... Oh, yes. So stabilization between external rockets is very important as well. So, for example, this over to this. And then we want to do it straight across here. And one more to make it a circle. To this, I guess, right? Yep. There we go. Connectors all around. I want to do it at the bottom as well. So the bottom is very, very important to have struts on, because that is it's where the engines are trying to push, and if you don't have good enough strutting, then you're going to want to push apart. Did I grab a strut? Can I try that again? There you go. Here to there, and one more from here to there. That works, right? What is it from underneath? Looking good, looking good. Zooming out, taking one last look at the rocket. We've got struts going from all the things to all the things, and in between the things to the other things. We've got our batteries set up, communications should we want them, parachute most importantly, and fuel to return, landing legs good. I always do a final check just to make sure that I've got everything. We've got all the science available. Everything. We got all the things. Okay. Save it and set up our launch sequence. So this is going to be really complex. Let me do this off camera here, because it's going to take probably a couple minutes, and I'll get it ready and see you on the launch pad.